The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned in to the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping them thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and all month long, we're talking about new beginnings. Today's guest has a great resource in our city for some men and women who may be seeking a new beginning in their lives, who may be coming out of addiction or homelessness, abuse, or any other life-controlling issues. I'm happy to have joining me today representatives from Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center, Chelsea Hernandez and Brandi Miller. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. If you will just briefly describe your roles at Saving Grace and how you came to be a part of the ministry.
Yes, ma'am. So my name is Chelsea Hernandez. I have the privilege and undeserved honor of working as the executive director. Really, my job just consists of overseeing everything and making sure that our staff are equipped with what they're doing and our students' needs are met. And just bringing the gospel and the hope to this organization.
Oh, that's awesome. How did you learn about Saving Grace?
So it's kind of a funny story. So I never actually went through this program. I do have a history of addiction. Got saved in 2010 from an overdose. And from that experience, I connected with my husband.
Wow.
Who went through Project Hope, which is our men's center.
Okay.
And when we got married in 2017, I was hired on and have been here ever since.
What a beautiful story.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yes. All right, Chelsea. Miss Brandi?
So my name is Brandi, and I actually work in our public relations department. And that consists of getting donations for the men and the women in both homes. And then I also I'm one of the staff members that live on site, like in the women's home. So I get to see their everyday walk, just everything that they do every day. And the way that I found out about Saving Grace is I actually had the opportunity to go through the program. My background, I came from addiction, homelessness, abuse, mental health, so all of the above. And I found myself having legal issues. And my mom actually found the program. So I came into the program and now my life is forever changed. So,
wow. Ladies, this isn't fair. You've not been here 5 minutes and I'm on the verge of tears. You know, there's a saying that you don't look like what you've been through. And you ladies are both just beautiful from the inside out.
Thank you.
Just from the little time I've met you. And so to see how God has turned your lives around and given you such a beautiful purpose and destiny in helping others it's beautiful to see that. So we're excited to get to know more about Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center. So Brandi, if you will, someone who knows a lot about the program, she's come through it herself, share a little bit about the history and where you're located, both in our city and even beyond.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So Project Hope was actually established in 2013 in Houston. It started with one location with just like a handful of staff and students. And then in 2015, we opened up Saving Grace Women's Home. It's a program for ladies also in Houston. In 2016, we were approached to start the men's home in our Florida location. And then 2018, we were asked to take over a program that was in Arkansas. It's in Russellville, Arkansas. And then this past year, we actually merged with another program merged with us.
Okay.
And at that time, we took on, it was about 5 other locations. And so now we have a location for Saving Grace in Texas, Florida, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee.
Wow.
And then our men's home, Project Hope, they have a location here in Houston. They have one in Arkansas and then in Florida.
That is incredible. So this is a ministry that is really a national ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Not only are you in Houston, but in other places. And what a blessing, because the needs that we talked about cross state lines.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
You know, whether it's homelessness, addiction, mental health issues. And so it's a blessing to know that such services are available. So talk a little bit, if you will, what are some of the services that you provide through these programs? And if you're just tuning in, we are speaking with guests from Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center. And we just want them to be able to share about the program. Our theme all month long is New Beginnings. And if you know of someone who needs a new beginning, they're coming out of addiction or homelessness or abuse or some other life controlling issues, it's programs like this one that can be that helping hand that they need. And so, Chelsea, if you will, Chelsea is the executive director. And if you will, share with us about some of those services.
Okay, sure. So we typically just provide them housing. They can come and live at the home for a year free of charge, so they don't have to worry about that. We do provide clothing and groceries as well. We even have a couple of restaurants and different companies that provide food for them as well. And then they also have biblical teachings taught to them Monday through Wednesday, so they can earn that solid foundation. And then we typically just teach them relapse prevention tools so that they can be successful when they graduate.
Wow. Well, one of the things I want to key in on, you mentioned biblical. Is this a faith-based program?
Yes, It is faith-based.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So they no doubt are learning about the love of God and who they are in God.
Yes.
And that's a tremendous gift. So what is there an average age or a minimum age requirement for a person to come through your program?
Yes, ma'am. So it's 18 years and up.
Okay.
And a lot of people will ask, well, what if I'm in my 60s? Typically, we just kind of ask them their health history and if they can physically do the work that we provide here.
Okay. That's great. Mm-hmm. So if you're just tuning in, we are speaking with representatives from Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center. If you will, also tell us, either of you, Chelsea or Brandi, what are some of the unique aspects of your program? What makes your program different? We know there are a lot of different types of recovery programs out there, but what might make yours different?
I would say that the fact that we're free of charge.
Yes.
There are a lot of recovery centers out there that charge an arm and a leg for entry, and we work really hard on the weekends selling our homemade crafts to remain open. We are solely open based off of community support, so we definitely put the work in, but that work keeps it free for that lady that needs the help to come in.
Okay.
And so I think another one of the unique aspects of it is most of the people that work there have gone through a program, or they come from a background of abuse, addiction, mental health, and homelessness. And so the people that do work there or volunteers that come in, they know what the people are going through. They know what the women are going through. They know what the men are going through. So they're able to counsel them, mentor, and give back, to people where they were once at.
Sure.
Another thing is when they're going through the program, there's different departments that they get to work in. So they actually get to learn different job skills. We have our shop department, which there's like teamwork that's involved in it. We have a craft department and marketing, public relations, education. So they kind of get to move around into different positions. So that way, when they do go out into the work field, again, they do have like job skills that they are learning. And then another thing is that the scriptures that they do memorize, like Chelsea was saying, it helps you stand on. You have a scripture that you stand on, and it helps you whenever you go out into the world or you're going through something or there's temptation, like you can just remember these scriptures and it helps you get through your day.
I love that. You're literally teaching them to stand on the word of God, just throughout, which is life-changing all in itself. Also, if you will, tell us the difference in Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Recovery Center.
So there's really not much of a difference other than the gender.
Okay.
So it's the same length of time, same biblical teachings that they do, same structure, just separate.
Okay.
Yes.
Are the campuses located in the same area as well?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
They're about 12 to 15 minutes apart.
Awesome. So Saving Grace Women's Home serves females, and Project Hope Recovery Center serves males.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there people in the program with children?
No, that's a goal for the future. That's a big goal because it's a big need.
Sure.
Currently, we don't house children right now. We do actually have an opportunity at our Florida campus. They are connected with Grace Fellowship Church,
Okay.
where the church houses the child and the program houses the mom. So hopefully in the future, Houston can have that. But right now, we currently just serve women.
Okay. So describe kind of what a typical day might look like for a person that's coming through your program, because we hear you saying things like being physically able to work, or the way you're supported is through selling your crafts. I'm seeing some busy bees buzzing around this place. So tell us, what does that look like?
So a typical day at Saving Grace and at Project Hope, the ladies wake up early in the morning,
Okay.
about 5:15.
Okay. That
And
is early.
It is early, but there's a lot to do in one day. And
Yes.
so at 5:15, they wake up and then they get ready for the day. And at 6:00, they come out into our living area and they do prayer and read their Bible for 30 minutes. So their day starts with prayer and Bible reading. And then at about 6:30, we circle up and there's checks that we do for scripture cards and undershirts. and then we put on the full armor of God.
Yes.
So that's a very important part of our day, is to just put on the full armor of God and be prepared for the day. After that, the ladies eat breakfast, and then there's chores that everyone is assigned. After we do chores, we leave our home and we head to our corporate office. And at the corporate office, the ladies, once we arrive there, we do praise and worship, and they do Proverbs every single day. After that is done, they go to their class, and that's where they learn biblical principles. They do study hall, which is they have contract work that they do, and that is character qualities. They have different books of the Bible that they read, and different scriptures that they memorize. And then after that, they go out into their work areas. And what that consists of is our craft department and our shop, our marketing, public relations, and education. And during that time is when we're preparing to go out on the weekends to fundraise.
Okay.
We go all over, pretty much from New Mexico to the west side of the United States, more so in the southern states, to fundraise. And we set up in front of Walmart's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supplies, truck stops, and we sell the woodwork and the crafts that the ladies have worked really hard on, or the ladies and men have worked really hard on throughout the week. It's all handcrafted. They paint it, sand it, stain it, distress it. And our marketing department schedules all of our stores for our crews to go out on the weekend. And so that is the primary way that we're actually funded, is by their hard work throughout the week. And so then we have on Sunday, sometimes ministry teams that we go on, which is going out to different churches. The ladies or the men sharing their testimonies and us sharing information about our program. And then we're in church on Sundays. And we have study groups on throughout the week sometimes.
So literally they're being trained to make these different items that are used for your support.
Yes, ma'am. And then also out on fundraising, it's an opportunity for them to share their testimonies, to hear other people that are going through the exact same thing that they've been through, but just didn't have the opportunity to come into a home to get help, or they just kind of get to see that what they're going through is normal.
Sure.
And other people are experiencing the same thing. And out on fundraising, sharing your testimony with people is one of the biggest part of their healing process.
Wow. I think I might have heard one of you say the first time I met you that they did not, I thought I understood that they did not work, but I'm understanding they do work.
Yes.
They work. It's just that they work within the program.
Correct.
It's like a bubble.
Sure.
We call it the cocoon.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a cocoon.
Say a little bit about that, because I'm sure that is very well thought out and purposeful as to why you do it that way.
Right. Well, it's kind of the best way I could kind of think of it, it's almost like a spiritual mental detox.
Okay.
Because when you're in addiction, your hands are to all the wrong things. And so it's just a life of sin is what it is, right? And it brings on a bunch of shame, a bunch of guilt, all these flooding emotions and traumas that go behind it. And then they come in the program. And so that's why during our intake process, we tell them A to Z what to expect.
Okay.
You know, hey, if you come in here, you're not going to be able to get an outside job. That won't happen until graduation.
Okay.
And then we tell them everything. And then they agree. If they agree to come in, they come in. And, you know, they learn pretty quickly, like, hey, this is a pretty closed,
structured.
I wouldn't say closed in. I would say more of a cocoon, I guess you could say, to where they can just get refreshed, replenished, restored by the Lord. And so that way we always tell them, you know, by the time you come in and the time that you graduate, you should look like two different people. You shouldn't even be the same person because of what God's done in you through the program.
Hence the name Saving Grace.
Saving Grace. Yeah.
And that's one thing I know. What I always tell people is that for myself, it was a safe place for me to go to be able to focus on myself, my recovery, and my relationship with God. And in that time, once you just go in and you submit and you hand over everything over, God just takes over and just starts doing everything else for you.
Wow, that is awesome. How long can a person stay in the program?
So during an admission process, we always tell them it's 12 months.
Okay.
So if a person calls or encounters us and they say, oh, well, I only want a 3-month program.
Okay.
We would tell them, hey, there are 3-month programs out there.
Sure.
Or 6-month or whatever it is they're looking for, but they have to be willing to commit to the 12 months.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And I imagine more often than not, people may really need more time than they think they need.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so after the program is over and you graduate, Saving Grace offers you an internship as well as Project Hope.
Yes.
And after you do an internship for 6 months, you can then become a staff member in the program.
Wow.
So it gives you different opportunities.
That's great. So is that what happened with you?
It is what happened with me.
You
Yes,
were just
ma'am.
such a stellar resident there that they said,
Yes,
we need to
ma'am.
consider hiring you.
I actually love what I do. I decided to do my internship and I got to stay on as a staff member and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Wow. That is amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful testimony. Talk to me about this graduation. How often do y'all do that? What does that look like? People graduating from the program.
Oh my gosh. So it is such a big deal. It's almost like our salute to a student.
Okay.
Because of how hard the program is.
Yes.
It's hard in the sense that you have to be willing to give it all up. That's what's so hard. The control, the self-control.
Yes.
And so when a person finishes, it's like a huge deal.
I bet there are lots of tears.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That sense of accomplishment, not to mention the relationships and the bond
Exactly.
that people have probably developed.
Yes. So we are super excited because this coming Sunday, we will have a girl graduating. And we were standing with all of the ladies yesterday in a group setting, and we were all talking to each other. And this individual just broke down in tears because she said before she came in the program, she was in I don't know if it was an AA group or something like that. And nobody believed that she was going to actually come in the program and finish it. And so here she is, like shocked at her own self at how God just totally touched her life.
Wow.
And I mean, you see this girl now, you wouldn't even know that she has a past addiction. Like God has completely changed her and she has such a heart to minister to other people.
Wow.
And she is graduating this coming Sunday.
Oh, that is beautiful. What a wonderful accomplishment. If you're just tuning in, we are learning a lot of wonderful information about a program in our city and beyond called Saving Grace Women's Home and also Project Hope Recovery Center. And this program is there for folks who are dealing with life-controlling problems such as sexual abuse, depression, addiction, alcoholism. It's a recovery treatment center. And not only that, it's faith-based. It's rooted in the Word of God. And so if you or someone in your life needs a program like this program is absolutely free of charge, which is unbelievable. But they also shared with us how they're able to support the program. And so if you guys want to say a little bit more about that, how can the community support you, whether it's through financial support or volunteer support? What are some of those opportunities for community support?
Well, I would always say a great support is food because we need it consistently. So we have had people, I know at some of our other locations, because I've worked at 3 of them, and a lot of people, if they want to come and cook a meal or donate food to us to make or whatever it is.
Great.
Yeah, that's always a huge need. Or hygiene items, clothing, shoes. That's always a big way to support because it's a consistent thing that we need.
That's great. So food, hygiene, clothing, shoes, items for both men and women.
Yes, ma'am.
Meals, these are things that these are the basics of life, right?
Exactly.
That we need every day.
Yes.
And so this is one of the ways that you can support. What about, are there volunteer opportunities?
It depends on the location. The good news about Houston is we do have a full staff. But if anyone ever reaches out to us, like on our Facebook, I always ask them, what would you like to do?
Okay.
Some people have done yard work. Some people have donated crafts and come and done with crafts with the girls. We've had people do like where they had little goats and it was like a goat therapy. And because like animals are therapeutic, right? So we had a girl come and do that. I mean, all kinds of things. And it's the littlest things like that that are the biggest deal to our girls.
That's great. All right. What about any success stories? I mean, I know I'm looking at one right here, Brandi,
Yes.
who went through the program. So talk to us about some of the change lives you've seen. And it can be your own, however you want to do that.
Okay, so with me, this program has completely changed my life. Well, God has completely changed my life, but this was like I said, a safe place for me to come to. It has helped me with restoration with my son, with my family. And there has been breakthroughs for my son with his sister and his dad. And I know that that's only from prayer. And I know that I had to go through this process in order for all of that to happen.
Wow.
When I was out in my addiction, there was a point in time that I tried committing suicide, that I didn't love myself. And coming into the program, I finally found the love that God had for me. And I love myself again. And I want to live. And that's the thing about going through this program. The ladies that do get to graduate, there's one that just graduated recently, and she was in Texas. And there was an opportunity for her to go to our Arkansas location and become our intake director there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of success within the program. But then there's also ladies that end up graduating. They do the internship, they work for the program, and then they move on with their lives. They get married, they have children. There's a few ladies, they're alumni, and they are married. A few of them just had babies. And so they have like a family and a life now. And the same thing with the men, they experience the same thing. And so that's the biggest success in this program is people just finding the love for themselves again, restoration, and then having your own family and having what I call a normal life, as normal as it possibly can be, but going to church and staying plugged in.
Wow.
I think one of the cool things about this program is just recognizing how God knows the depth of somebody's need and their heart and their desire for recovery. And there was a gentleman that I remember from Project Hope. He had been walking through the Walmart parking lot, was in his addiction, lost, struggling, right? Saw one of our resource cards on the Walmart parking lot ground.
Yes.
Found it, picked it up, called the number, came in and graduated the program and is sober today.
Wow.
So I just look at this program and I cannot help but to think God has to be in it. He is in this program and he knows the hearts of those people who are desperate to change.
Right. That's right.
And how God uses us all the time as a vessel to bring that restoration and hope for them so that they can bring it to somebody else. And one other person I want to highlight is my husband. I remember my husband in his addiction. We went to high school together. We were not high school sweethearts or anything like that, but I did know him. And when I overdosed, he was actually across the street in a recovery center.
Wow.
Wasn't serious about the Lord at the time, ended up leaving that recovery center and relapsed, but then came across Project Hope through a fundraiser.
Okay.
Came in and graduated. And when I tell you that this man is totally different than who he was in high school, it's unbelievable. And now God is bringing him to get his master's degree. He's the men's education. He works in the education and does our human resources.
Wow.
So just to see what his life was like and what God did with it and where he's at now, it's almost unbelievable. It's just amazing.
Yes. And there were, another success story or
Please,
two.
yes.
We have a lot.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so I actually got to see these girls go through the program, and one just recently graduated. And when she first came into the program, she didn't believe in God at all. And now she believes in God. But not only that, she's actually doing an internship with our church.
Wow.
And now she wants to be in full-time ministry.
Wow.
And so
she came.
Yeah. And so that success story
circle.
is just, it's amazing to me. So,
Yes. Wow. This is absolutely amazing. So just say someone listening right now and they are thinking about this program or thinking this may be perfect for their son, their daughter. What does the intake process entail? What does that look like?
Yes, ma'am. So I feel like Saving Grace and Project Hope make it really easy for a person to come in the program. We have numbers that people call. They can contact us on our Facebook, or they have gotten our information through churches that we've gone to visit. And really how a person gets in is they just call the number. We explain our program thoroughly to them, make sure they agree with what we're giving to them, and then they can sign up. And then after they sign up, a lot of people ask, how long does it take for me to get in? And really, we have to look at their background, legal history, medical history to determine about how long that will take. We always are clear that we're non-medical, but we do provide non-narcotic medications. So if somebody's taking Zoloft or Effexor or some kind of mental health medication that we do approve, they just have to come in with a supply. So we really want to set them up for the whole year so that they can come in and be equipped.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. Well, we've been talking to Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center. They provide residential care for men and women who are seeking freedom from various life-controlling problems, various addictions, depression, alcoholism. It's a program that's available free of charge. All you have to do is be ready to make that commitment. And if you'd like to learn more about the program, you can go to Saving Grace, WH, as in Saving Grace Women's Home.com. Or you can also go online to Saving Grace Texas or Project Hope Texas and also find out more about these wonderful programs. How can we be praying for you? You guys are doing such wonderful work. How can we be praying for your ministry?
So the biggest thing is just to pray for the ladies and the men that are in the program, that they just continue on the path that they're on, for each one of them to just surrender, turn everything over to God. And we hope that each one of them have an encounter there with God. And then other things that we can be praying for are just for the staff and the volunteers, for them just to continue to stay strong, for them to continue to be able to pour into the students, and that they just get healing.
That's awesome. I also want to reiterate some of the practical ways that you can help, because this is a residential treatment program. They always need your basic supplies, food, clothing, hygiene items, shoes. Maybe your church group would like to provide a meal for them, because what they do is 24/7. And so it's an ongoing need and such an ongoing opportunity for the body of Christ to be able to come alongside people who are earnestly trying to move their lives forward.
Yes.
And so we're grateful to know that you exist, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely.
We're so excited to have you. Well, we are so excited for this opportunity we've had to get to know more about Saving Grace Women's Home and Project Hope Recovery Center. So I want to say thanks again to our guests, Chelsea Hernandez.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chelsea, and also Brandi Miller.
Thank you.
And God bless you for the wonderful work that you are doing to support these men and women who are in recovery. And so thank you for joining us today. And to learn more again about the services of Saving Grace Women's Home, go to savinggracewh.com, or you can search online for Saving Grace Texas or Project Hope Texas. And as always, thank you to our wonderful audience for joining us. And we hope you'll join us again next week for another edition of Community Beat. I'm Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.